things you don't talk about at parties. You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Keep that frequency clear.
And now it's conspiracy. See, they've made that something that should not be even entertained for a minute, that powerful people might get together and have a plan. Doesn't happen. You're a kook. You're a conspiracy buff.
You're watching The Truth is Viral, the only news program on the internet trusted to deliver the truth since 2008. And now, here's your host, Mr. Bobby Powell.
Welcome back to The Truth is Viral. My name is Bob Powell, and in breaking news today, a stunning development, actually. CEO of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, is refusing to join the high-tech lynch mob that has been banning Alex Jones from all of his platforms. They've even taken the man's email away. How bad is that? As a result, Jack has been undergoing an assault, basically, from the left, calling him all kinds of vile names, and he understands what it's like to be a conservative on Twitter. So Alex Jones is going to respond to that message right now, and as soon as he's done, I have very important news for you, and you're going to want to hear it, so don't click away.
This is my message to Jack Dorsey, and it's also my message to all the people that are attacking him right now. First off, I saw a Huffington Post article this morning saying, Jack, don't die on this hill. And then I read the tweets where, Jack, you're responsible for Alex Jones doxing Sandy Hook families. I never doxed Sandy Hook families. I've been apologizing for years for how things were taken out of context. And it was my apologies and everything that got the media into this whole attack mode to then sit there and poke the families until they sued me. And no mainstream media will ever publish all of my apologies or any of it. It is just wild. And then when Megyn Kelly came to town a year and a half ago, she edited everything I said when I apologized to everybody and then edited it to where I was attacking people. And that's all going to come out. So first off, they're trying to deplatform me everywhere in a huge concerted, admitted purge, like something out of communist China, publicly, lying about what I've said and I've done. And now they're doing it to you. If you go read that Huffington Post article with the tweets in it, they're going, listen here, Dorsey, it's your fault now. You're hurting the families. I mean, there's no end to this purge, and I think you understand that. Look, I know I've been shadow banned. I know your moderators have dialed me back. Whatever. What's happening, though, is they've now taken our platform away, Discus we've had for 5-6 years for comments. They've taken MailChimp away from me. They've taken my name off LinkedIn. I am being unpersoned, like out of 1984. I am literally being disappeared. And look, I've got a big enough listenership and following where it's going to hurt me, but it's going to hurt little people really freaking bad. And you've got Google, who is the big problem in my view, openly working with China for a censorship search engine. It came out in The Intercept last week, and for censorship here. It's already happening. Since the campaign, it's 100 times worse, as you know. And so when all of these big tech companies decided to do this, first giving me strikes for things I didn't say and didn't do, leaving it all nebulous, that I bullied trans people and bullied a kid, none of it was true, and that I was Islamophobic, none of that was true. They didn't show anywhere in the news what I said and what I did. I don't know if you're sincere in defending free speech now. All I know is the mere fact that you're saying that you're standing up for it is a good thing, and you're being attacked. So I'm glad that you've doubled down, at least for now. But here's what we have. We have a high-tech lynch mob involved in really cyber warfare and stalking warfare, trying to have me removed off the web. Right now, they're going to all our server companies and filing fake reports that we're putting out child porn and that we are putting out gambling and dark web crap. There's zero of that. So congratulations, folks. You've crippled InfoWars, you've crippled News Wars, and you're doing all of this, but it's all going to bite you guys in the butt that are doing this. I mean, this is crazy. Congress is paying attention and waking up to all the censorship. You guys have really pushed too far. You're trying to influence the election. You're giving donations in kind to the Democrats by blocking people like myself and others. The Democrats are now calling for Breitbart to be delisted and deplatformed, and for Fox News. You've got the Democrat senator coming out and saying InfoWars is the rotting tip of the iceberg and get rid of all the conservative media. I'm a libertarian. I got arrested twice by George W. Bush protesting him. None of that's true. I'm a libertarian. I'm an anti-war guy. That's why I like Trump. But regardless, the economy's coming back. The country's coming back. A lot of really, really exciting things are happening. And I am just very, 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 very honored to be in a country where we still have some basic freedoms, but we're losing them. They also misrepresent on Colbert last night and everywhere else They go, oh, well, it's comedy. No, they pose as news that I threatened Mueller literally. No, I said figuratively, politically, high noon with spaghetti western music on, that he's going to have a political downfall, and like a little kid went, psh, psh. They know that. So they just put out these edited quotes saying that I threatened him, when the last thing I want is physical harm offensively. Everybody knows that. We had thousands of patriots come out in Portland this Saturday and Sunday in Berkeley, and none of them got arrested, and 20 plus Antifa did, and the police are finally done with them because they've been doxing the police. You guys, the liberals, have become the bullies, have become the crazed maniacs who want total political control. And the fact that you're now like a bunch of crazed villagers with torches trying to, not just get Frankenstein, Alex Jones, killed, but now you're trying to get Dr. Frankenstein. I guess now Jack Dorsey is my Frankenstein. It's not true. The truth is the left already has dialed back conservatives in major studies 93%. There are computer programs, and there are computer scientists, and there are computer sites that we've written about at Infowars.com today that detail all this, where they can track how conservatives have been dialed back 50% during the 2016 campaign, and then since then 93%. Paul Watson has been dialed back on YouTube 97% monetarily and over 80% who he can reach. We all know this. We've got the analytics. We can see when they keep, well, this didn't work. This didn't work. People are still popular. This didn't work. This didn't work. And so now all free speech must be gotten rid of so that the, quote, left can control things. This is going to blow up in your face. This has failed. Jack Dorsey knows that. Okay? Now, there's another idea I've got here. I'm not saying this is what Jack's done, Jack, is that I've watched how CNN and pushed for me to not be able to publish a book and celebrated it, and then pushed for me to be taken off YouTube and lied about what I said at Parkland and all this other stuff. Then those strikes were taken down a few months ago because they were fraudulent. There was a Bloomberg article. They weren't real. Bloomberg said that someone inside YouTube took my stuff down and shouldn't have. But then the Democrats in Congress a few weeks ago called for me to be censored, and so they started responding. They did some fake strikes for things I didn't do. Then CNN pushed it, MSNBC pushed it, the New York Times pushed it, got everybody in this big witch hunt, this electronic witch hunt, and then they began to see more and more things go down. For everything from Pinterest to Facebook, you name it, for total deplatforming. And now they're even after my website trying to shut it down. So is Dorsey just training everybody to basically rampage, where he says, no, I won't take Alex off, and then dangles me above the wolves like a piñata so that they get all frothing into a frenzy, and then finally I'm dropped in to the nest, and then that teaches everybody, hey, if you continue to rampage around the internet and file false reports and engage in all this stuff, you will be rewarded with more people brought down, because that could be the Machiavellian dark corridor that Dorsey's going down, and I don't think that's what he's doing. He's a smart guy, and if you continue down the censorship route, it's going to end up in antitrust. It's going to end up in major investigations. It's going to build the entire industry of monitoring online discrimination against people that you don't respect. And remember, understand this. This is all about economics. Once they're done censoring me, the guy they chose to demonize, to build a straw man, to set the precedent for this purge, once they've been able to shut me down, once they've been able to carry this out, they admit I am the first domino, and it's everybody. And that is a scary country to live in. Quite frankly, I work all the time. I never get to, like a ship or something in war, go into dock and get fixed. I'm exhausted. I wouldn't work this hard and fight this hard if I wasn't always being suppressed, always being harassed, always being lied about for 24 years. I would have actually quit doing this probably 10 years ago, but you guys messed with me so bad, I expanded everything. And now I'm going to expand even more. I'm going to launch a whole bunch of new stuff, and everybody's going to see. So I'm not going to be suppressed, and Infowars reaches more people than ever, and we're going to go through some hard times. The site may go down today. It's just like they did to the Nazis, They take their domains away, kick them off, all that. That's happened to us right now. And, I saw, I don't like the Nazis. I can't stand them, but they're always hating on me, but they have a right to free speech as long as they're not calling for violence. I saw Howard Dean saying Alex Jones promotes Nazism and he needs to be taken off the air. And all these former Obama administration officials telling Jack Dorsey what to do. And then they don't put a link to me supporting Nazism, which I don't. They called for Amazon to take my film Endgame off. It's been on there for years. All over the news saying it promotes Nazism. The damn movie is against Nazis. It's about eugenics and the McCormick-Dickstein Committee hearings and how Roosevelt had some issues, but at least they stopped a Nazi takeover in the U.S. And there were frickin' hearings after World War II about it, man. The movie's against Nazis. I mean, the left has become a bunch of authoritarian crazies. You see Candace Owens, who's black and a beautiful, great lady, being shouted at in a restaurant, a bunch of white people screaming at her, Nazi scum, Nazi scum. I mean, that's just crazy. She was a classical liberal setting up a site for feminists, and the feminists wanted to take control of it, so they acted like white supremacists harassing her, and then they came as allies, white allies, to take her over. I mean, it's just, you guys are using race as a control arm, and it's sick and it's evil, and you're in a mob mentality, and you're on the wrong side of history. Whatever happens to Alex Jones at the end of the day, to me, this is just a big challenge, and I've made mistakes, and I'm not perfect, and I've had things taken out of context, and I'm more careful now, and I apologize to anybody I've hurt over the years, and I want to do better. But I don't get to go to Congress when they've had 3 hearings on me the last few months and lie about me. I'm never called. I don't get to know who's anonymously reporting us and saying we're serving out child porn. I don't get to find out who's calling me a Nazi. I don't get to know who's doing all this. I just know the newspapers show up 3 times in 3 different court cases, and in the media try to have my kids taken from me, including last Friday. Okay? My children taken away. Using headlines saying I abuse children and YouTube kicked me off for child endangerment and then never showing the clip. And the judge was like, what the hell are you talking about? Psh, no. But I'm just saying, man, next level, folks. Next level. And you know, going back like 3 years ago, when I really researched Sandy Hook more and realized that the anomalies all could be described, and I think the mass shooting really happened, I was sick of them hurting the families, bringing my name up, and then saying I'd said things I hadn't said ever to hurt the families. And then all of you leftists keep redoing it, using the children, using the blood, using all of that to blame me and the First Amendment now, not just the Second Amendment, and it's just wild. It's wild that I told Megyn Kelly everything I just said here and more. And she didn't put a damn piece of it in that show. I mean, what the hell, man? That's next level discipline. I've had the New York Times and the Washington Post in Austin come up and try to interview me, and a bunch of other papers, and I tell them all that. In the last couple months, none of it hits the paper. I waive, something my lawyers have never seen in Connecticut and in Texas, waive attorney's fees. Even though they're suing me, I waive that under law, if they lose, they have to pay my fees. I waive it. All over the news. I'm suing them. The opposite of the truth. When they sue you, it kicks in, just like in England, where you sue somebody for libel, you lose, you have to pay. I waived that, which actually incentivized me being sued. And I took the total high road as an olive branch, and it meant nothing. The left went, oh, crap. He waived it in his filing in Connecticut, and under Texas law, they want you to the hearing. Just say he sued him. Wow. You guys are going to lose. You're authoritarians, and I think Jack Dorsey understands that and is trying to be on the right side of history. Maybe. I'm trying to be positive here. Jack, I've already been dialed back on Twitter to nothing. So being taken off of it doesn't do that much to me. But the dominoes that are going to fall for you being bullied into submission on other things, I think you know are unending. And I think it's wrong that Milo got taken off. But, you know, the issue with Milo is he's been taken out of context as well, but he's got his website, he's got his stuff, he's got his speaking tour. They are literally trying to shut everything down with me right now. So that, here's my final point, I can't speak for myself while they create the straw man. This Alex Jones that they say says nobody died at Parkland. I never even said anything like that. Or that says they were all crisis actors. Or the whole other stuff. They want to be able to lie about me and lie about what I've said and done in a vacuum where I can't even respond. So it is good to not just have Infowars.com and Newswars.com they're trying to shut down right now, so that I can go somewhere out in the world and actually say, hey, I didn't say that. Here's what I really said. 35,000 videos we put up over 12 years on Infowars.com from YouTube, all blown away. All my statements about Sandy Hook, what I really said, my grandmother that's dead now, my French bulldog that's gone, my little kids, shots of my kids walking around their little kids, that's all gone, all blown away, because the thought police secretly reported me, all these SJWs that went and got their worthless college degrees and now are all pissed and have been told by the system, take over America and you'll have a position. And now they're just this crazed Maoist brigade. That's their ideology. And they just anonymously report me. I can't face my accusers, and then all my stuff gets destroyed. That's going to make people not put things on the platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Everybody's already leaving it in mass. And this whole attempt to win the midterms and purge things is what's driving down all the stock. And I think you know that. Infowars.com, newswars.com. This is what I really had to say. This is what I really stand for. And this is the First Amendment, my right to respond to the coordinated attacks that are taking place. But again, if you don't stand up for free speech, you will be next, just like Jack Dorsey, who they are now announcing and now saying doxed the families with no link, and none of it's true. Infowars.com, newswars.com. We'll be on the radio 11 a.m. today, Central, Infowars.com/show. Our app's gone to number 2 overall news apps in just 3 weeks. We only launched it 3 weeks ago, Infowars Official. They're trying to have that taken down now. CNN's lobbying for that. Total racketeering, just classical, tortious interference. We've got our own podcast at Infowars.com/show. Go there and click on that. Subscribe to myself, David Nutter, Owen Schroyer, so you can actually get it on your own platform, because I've been deplatformed off all those. I had over 10 million people subscribe to me on iTunes. They would not list me as one of the top podcasts. They already had me delisted in the listings, but still it was there. It was still searchable. So they just took me out of the phone book. They disappeared me. Like I've been airbrushed out of, those old Soviet photos with Stalin, and as he killed each person, he had them airbrushed out. I mean, if this hit in 1984, baby, I don't know what is. So again, lie about me, demonize me, build the straw man. Then start shutting the straw man down to set the precedent to shut everybody else down. And while all the other conservatives and people go, well, Alex Jones, the straw man they've built about him is pretty negative, I'm not going to defend him. While that happens, all the speech is burned down, the precedent's set right ahead of the midterms. We knew this was coming, it's here, and it's dangerous, but the good news is a lot of academics, a lot of people are starting to see what this is. So please, everybody, understand this is your free speech, this is your country. Just because the universities told you were the elect, you were the elite, F free speech when you're fighting Nazis, so you scream at Candace Owens and call her a Nazi. I had 4 camera guys at those rallies in San Francisco and in Portland, and we had the most minorities at our rallies. A good 30%, 40%, and it scared the living hell out of the left. A bunch of sickly-looking white meth head types who act like the old Nazis. They were just kind of scum and, what do you call them, KKK, just kind of trashy people who wanted to feel like they were in the good group fighting the bad group. The Nazis thought they were good, so did the KKK. And what do I get? Stephen Colbert going, I'm Tuck Buckford last night, like Alex Jones, KKK, and pouring milk on his head. I mean, what the hell? Man, everybody knows that I've always been against the Nazis. So this is crazy. This is crazy. Infowars.com, newswars.com. That's my message to Jack Dorsey. I hope he's on the right side of history. Looks like he may be trying to be. All the rest of you haters, Jesus, man. I hope it feels good, because you guys are really becoming authoritarian, and it's really, really sad. But I know you get promoted on all these platforms. In the algorithm, you don't get dialed back. You get 100% reach when you're like this. So it's trained you with dopamine, just like the former head of Facebook said, to be minions of this thing. But it's going nowhere. All right, that's it. I'll be live 11 a.m. David Knight's live right now. Infowars.com/show. The battle for America and the First Amendment. All of it is happening right now.
I'm Pete Santilli, and you're watching The Truth is Viral.
Do not click away. We'll be back with more in just a moment. Whether we like it or not, radical Islamists are bringing the fight to us right here in the United States. As Americans, we have the right and the duty to protect our friends and our family from Islamic terrorism. We don't negotiate with terrorists, we just kill them. Real Americans, the young, the old, men, women, even the Amish, stand ready to protect the American homeland from Islamic terrorism. And more, they're turning to the most terrifying force multiplier that the world has ever seen. It's called silver bullet gun oil. This is made from 13% pig fat, and it is guaranteed to send an Islamic terrorist straight to hell. In 1902, Black Jack Pershing, famous U.S. Army general, realized the effectiveness of this psychological weapon on Islamic terrorism. He rounded up 50 Islamic terrorists, and he tied 49 of them to stakes. And as they stood there awaiting their death, he brought in a few pigs and put them, slaughtered them in a pit in front of these hostages. Boy, they were terrified, and then they got shot, every single one of them. They were buried in the pit and covered with the pig's entrails. The 50th terrorist was let go so that he could go tell the rest of his buddies what he'd seen. And for the next 42 years, there was not a single incidence of Islamic terrorism anywhere in the world. That is how effective this weapon is. Since 2004, silver bullet gun oil has been used by members of the United States Marine Infantry, Marine Recon, U.S. Marine Scout Snipers, Navy SEALs, regular Army, Army Rangers, Green Berets, Reserve, and National Guard units deployed or being deployed to the Middle East theater of operations. Silver bullet gun oil is used by M1 Abrams tank platoons. Apache and Cobra gunships use silver bullet in their miniguns. Many of Allah's holy warriors have been greatly disappointed upon realizing that they did not pass go and they did not collect 72 virgins. A number of air marshals use silver bullet gun oil in their in-flight weaponry. It's been distributed to members of police tactical teams throughout the United States from coast to coast, including members of my local law enforcement community. Oh yeah, buddy. I count on them to protect me from these Islamic terrorists. I can't keep my head on a swivel 24 hours a day. So, yeah, they're the first ones that I gave a bottle of silver bullet gun oil to. The psychological impact of silver bullet gun oil might very well prevent many attacks on American citizens in the U.S. Islamic terrorists don't care about dying, folks. In fact, they welcome the idea. So we have to take that incentive away from them by guaranteeing them an afterlife in hell.
In order to get your bottle of silver bullet gun oil, send a check or money order for $24.95 to Bobby Powell at Post Office Box 91, Alpena, Michigan 49707. Yes, folks, silver bullet gun oil is actually a very good product. I use it myself. And what amazed me is that last year, we have a hunting camp every year, and a bunch of us get together and go out there and shoot guns, blow stuff up. We have a real good time. Of course, we use tannerite. It's legal. It works. Okay. But when everybody else's gun was jamming because it was -2 degrees below zero, my silver bullet gun oil worked fine. And you can get your bottle. All you got to do is send $24.95 to Post Office Box 91 in Alpena, Michigan, and I will hook you up. And it's even got this great Truth is Viral logo on it. How do you like that? Isn't that sweet? My buddy Midnight Runner over at SBGO hooked me up with that. And in just a second here, as soon as I can set it up, we're going to be talking to Tim Brown. Tim is one of the contributing editors at The Truth is Viral. He writes for the Washington Standard and his own website, the Freedom Outpost. And we're going to talk about this because we need to actually do something, folks. Oh no. An error occurred while trying to get access to cam or microphone. Okay, we'll try it again. Dun 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 dun. Oh, come on. It was working 15 minutes ago. I did test it before I went on the air. Oh, jeez. What am I going to do? Okay, I'm going to try one more time. And hardware access error. They don't want us to talk about this. They just don't. So, I'm going to have Tim call me. And we'll try it a different way. Improvise, adapt, and overcome, folks. They can't stop the signal. We'll find a workaround. But yes, as Alex was saying, Jack Dorsey is facing the wrath of the left. And one of these far-left websites, Vox, is really letting them have it. Just look at that headline. Twitter reveals its moral rot by letting InfoWars' Alex Jones keep his account. The article goes on to say Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey issued a jarring counter-argument Tuesday night to the recent wave of backlash against far-right conspiracy theorist Alex Jones and his broadcast network InfoWars. In response to continued calls for Twitter to ban Jones from the site, Dorsey bluntly explained why Twitter has not joined Apple, Facebook, YouTube, and many other companies in barring Jones for disseminating hate speech, among other things. Now, I'm going to stop reading right there and give you my opinion. Alex Jones is a lot of things, and I don't particularly care for him personally, but he doesn't do hate speech. And I'm going to tell you why I don't care for Alex Jones personally, because this is important. Alex friended me on Facebook. Not Facebook, but LinkedIn. He sent me a friend request about 4 years ago. And so he knew who I was. I'd sent videos into contests that he'd had. And he'd used some of my material on his show without proper attribution, I might add. But this next part's really going to make you mad. At least it should. Made me mad. Made me extremely mad. So, like I said, he knows who I am. Okay, well, I've got Tim Brown on the line. And, hey, Tim, hold on for just 1 second, and we'll get right to you. I just wanted to show, I was just about to show these folks why I'm mad at Alex Jones. Well, he, like I said, he knows who I am. He knows what the Truth is Viral is, and he knows that I started it as a form of therapy because I was a mainstream media journalist at the end of the Gulf War when an accident stole my ability to read, write, and speak properly, and a second accident a year later cost me my ability to walk. So 8 operations, hundreds of hours of physical therapy later, I'm back to, say 90% of my abilities to deliver the news. And so Alex Jones was aware of this. And a viewer sent me this not too long ago. And folks, it's just going to make your blood boil. Watch this.
That is the chance of Lock Her Up and Hillary for President 2016 that all originated right here on this transmission. And that's why they're trying to block us, they're trying to censor us, because we put out memes that are truth-based, and that's why they're viral. And I think that's going to be InfoWars' new slogan. Not just that there's a war on for your mind, but InfoWars. The truth is viral. You have Frigé trademark that right now. Thank you. InfoWars. The truth is viral.
So yeah, after all the work and effort that I've put into this show since 2008, Alex Jones wants to steal my name. Well, I'm sorry, I'm not going to let him do that. Tries to trademark The Truth is Viral. He can't do that. So I don't personally like Alex Jones. But what's happened to him is wrong. It is very, very wrong. And I'm not going to stand for it. Neither should you. We should all be up in arms, raising holy hell in every way that we possibly can in order to fix this. But I don't know what to do other than raise holy hell. It's going to have to take an act of Congress or a presidential executive order to get this stuff fixed. And why isn't that working? There we go. Okay. All right, so we're going to talk about censorship on the internet for the next little bit, and my guest is Tim Brown, and like I said, he's a contributing editor at The Truth is Viral, and he writes for the Washington Standard, and he's got his own website, Freedom Outpost, and I'm proud to call him my friend. He's a really great guy. As soon as I can get this thing set up, I'm going to fix him up. And that's going to have to, that little thing's going to have to go away. Dun, 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 dun. It's just going to take me one more second, folks. Please bear with me. These technical difficulties are a pain in the butt, but nothing's going to deter me when I want to get something done. If they can take away my platform, they've already banned me on from live streaming on YouTube, and they're throttling down my video views. When I broadcast here live on Liberty One, we always get at least 20 to 30,000 live viewers, and sometimes up like last night's show was 71,000 views, and there we go. Okay. And then I upload it to YouTube, and I get 700 views for the same episode. I'm sorry, but I ain't buying it. And it's a problem because, folks, our speech is absolutely being censored. Not just talk show hosts or political pundits, but Republican candidates for Senate, like John James. He just won the Michigan primary to become the U.S. Senator candidate that's going to face Debbie Stabenow in November. He was shadow banned. Matt Gaetz, Jim Jordan, Ted Cruz, a bunch of other legislators are shadow banned on Twitter. And even though Jack Dorsey has done the right thing as far as Alex Jones is shadow banned. This shadow ban thing's got to go because we can tweet out all we want, but only a limited number of people are going to see it. And they even do it to the President of the United States. I've checked out President Trump's Twitter handle on that shadowban.eu, where everybody goes to see if they're shadow banned. But it doesn't show that he's shadow banned. But I'm here to tell you, on my honor as a United States Marine, I ain't not lying to you. I have never, since his election, I have never once seen an organic tweet from the President of the United States. Only after it's been retweeted by somebody else do I get to, or if I go to his timeline, do I get to see his tweets organically. And so they're trying to suppress our speech because they've got nothing. They really do have nothing. They don't have any policies that they can promote. They don't have any. They don't have any morals. So you've got these legislators like Maxine Waters inviting people, encouraging people to go out and get in the face of members of the administration and Trump supporters, and that's exactly what they're doing. That treasonous witch is going to get somebody killed. Mark my words. That kind of rhetoric is exactly what caused a Bernie Sanders supporter to open fire on a group of Republican congressmen that were having baseball practice last year. Almost killed Steve Scalise. Rand Paul's been attacked a couple of times. Last time it broke a couple of ribs and put him out of action for weeks. So it's not a conspiracy theory. It's not a joke. It's real, and it happens. Violence against conservatives happens. I had a guy fly from Portland to Oregon, 4,600 miles round trip, and then drive another 6 hours to my house in northern Michigan so that he could deliver me a poisoned pizza, just so he could see the look on my face. That's the kind of evil that we're fighting here, folks. I've had people threaten to kill me, cut my balls off, gang rape my wife to death, burn my children to death as they sleep in their beds. And people wonder why I carry a gun everywhere I go. It's not just that we live in a violent society. We live in a society where people are being targeted for their political views, and it's being encouraged by some of the most powerful people in the country. And it's unsat. And we're not going to stand for it. So I was able, while I was doing that little rant, to find a picture of my friend Tim Brown. and work it into my graphics real quick. So here he is. He's a good-looking guy. His wife is beautiful. And hey, Tim, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, Bobby. How are you, man? Thank you.
I'm really good.
Now, it's funny that you said that, because I had a guy defriend me today because I have long hair, and he wanted to quote 1 Corinthians 11, for which I had to do a Facebook post to correct the context of what was being said there. It's not talking about the length of a person's hair. It's talking about basically what we're dealing with in some parts of this country, and that is men doing their hair up like women, and women making their hair to appear as men. The whole context is there about what's going on. And he said, "You look like a girl." And I kind of joked, and I said, "Well, boy, I must be the ugliest girl you've ever seen in your life."
Well, there's no doubt about that. You are the ugliest girl I've ever seen in my life.
I agree.
So I've given folks a brief history of the troubles that I've seen. Can you? Why did my background stop? Oh, jeez. Okay, no biggie. Tell me about your experiences with censorship. I know that it has happened. It happens to all of us. So how is the Freedom Outpost and Washington Standard and the other publications that you write for, how have they been censored? I imagine that Facebook is probably limiting your reach, aren't they?
They are. So is Google. Extortion 17, the anniversary of that, the downing of Extortion 17, we lost 17 Navy SEALs, 38 U.S. Military people on board that August 6, 2011. And, used to, when you Googled Extortion 17, my article from Freedom Outpost used to be the top one, and it would fluctuate on the front page, first to six, something like that. And then when I would write new ones, there would be 2 or 3 of them on the front page, first or second page. Now you got to go like 4 or 5 pages back. They've got the Smithsonian up as the top one. Of course, they're going to give their little official whatever, which we know is bunk. I mean, we know it. We know it not only from the Colt report, but we know it from another friend of mine who I've interviewed, and I wanted to get an article out on the anniversary, and unfortunately, I just haven't had the time to go through that long interview we had on that. But that was that was one thing. The guys who oversee our advertising and other things like that at Freedom Outpost went up to Capitol Hill, talked to several people, including Ted Cruz, about what was going on. I showed them my analytics, which he says, "Well, you pretty much stayed the same." Since last year, January to May, the same. But what he didn't see was that the massive drop that occurred in the beginning of, and maybe even at the end of 2015, but the beginning of 2016. Because if you remember, there was Harvard who came out with a fake news list that they were providing to their journalism class. And that list was provided by this loony professor at some little remote, university or whatever. And she had put that together. Harvard was providing it to them. And the funny thing was that came out really big nationally, that list, somewhere around mid 2016 or spring or something like that. I saw that list like a year before, and it was just tied to that lady. And somebody passed along. I saw our thing on there. I saw several sites that carry some of my articles and stuff, and some who were in our network of sites that I'm with. And I didn't think anything of it because I'm like, who's this lady? I didn't know who it was. I didn't even recognize the college that she was teaching at. And so I paid it no mind, and it came up. So then from there, that list has traveled out, and you've got all these quote unquote fact checker sites that show up, and bias, checkers and this, that, and the other. So I happen to run across. I'll tell you what I'm doing in a small fight to fight back, because everybody gets upset and they say, well, you should do this, you do that. Well, I'll just tell you, first off, I started a new business. And that new business provides a service that does just what I'm about to tell you about, if people are interested in it. And they'll do it with the monthly fees that you pay, which is less than $1 a day. Okay. But I had a website called MediaBiasFactCheck.com. MediaBiasFactCheck.com. And what they did was they wrote reviews on Freedom Outpost. And I went in and read what they did. I saw the links they provided. It was clear they did not pay attention. They had some guy, writing whatever he wanted to write, picking and pulling out stuff and just writing what he wanted to write. And so I wrote through the contact form that was there, and I told them, I said, you really need to correct what you've got here. I said, you're saying things that just aren't true. Or you're not providing everybody the whole information. You're just taking your own bias and putting it on here. Never got a response. In fact, the next day, they added more stuff to it. And some of it was just ridiculous. About somebody's title, they decided to use some kind of reference to the Lord of the Rings, and it was commentary. So it wasn't a news item. And anybody would have read it, would have got it. And the guy said, oh, this is a ridiculous title. Well, that's his opinion, but that has nothing to do with any bias. It's just the guy chose the title that way. So I wrote again, and I let the guy know, this was last year, that I was going to pursue some legal action, since he wouldn't even write me back or anything. He did comment on the article. He said, you'll probably pull this down. I said, no, I'm going to leave it up so everybody sees where you're at. I wrote a rebuttal article pointing out all the errors that they had, and everything they pointed at was an error. And so they posted a link to the site. Well, I started this new business. I got the service, and I had my attorneys send a letter free of charge from me, because I was already getting their services, to this man. I had to. He doesn't have an address. He lives just on the other state, North Carolina. He doesn't have an address. So what I had to do was I had to actually go to his donate button on PayPal and give $1 to him in order for PayPal to give me his address. My attorney sent him a letter advising him that to cease and desist what he's doing, and that I will have no alternative but to file a suit against him for libel. And so they sent that out. He claims he never received it. So I wrote him again in the contact section, and I said, here's a copy of the letter. I uploaded the copy of the letter, and I can show you that letter here if you wanted to see it. It's just short.
Well,
but,
nobody can see it because I've just got your picture up.
Okay, no problem. But what happened was I provided a URL to him, and it's really interesting because he never responded to me in email. I sent him several emails on this, and he sent me an email after he saw the letter. And he said this: I did not receive your letter, but did view the one you uploaded. I have removed your source pages from the internet, and I'm expecting you will remove the libelous article, which it wasn't libelous. Right. He asked me to remove his wife's name from the article. That's not libel. I just wanted people to know exactly who he was, and everything I put on there was from public information. So he asked me to remove it, let him know where it was. And I did, and I was fine. I was fine with removing the article because he removed ours. And Bradley had the same thing, the Sons of Liberty Media. He let him know, this is the only time I'm going to, deal with you. And the guy pulled it immediately. And Bradley, he's taken it to people like Rachel Maddow, who's misrepresented. Now that's some misrepresentation. On the censorship side, I think, we can do virtually the same thing. But we've got to take that seriously. Pete's talked about doing a class action lawsuit against some of these guys. I know he's talked about going to YouTube and protesting and things of that nature. I mean, someone like me, I just can't afford. I don't have the funds to go out to California. And
I know the feeling, brother. I do.
I mean, I'd love to do that. That'd be great.
Oh man, I would have given my left nut to be out there with Antifa and maybe streaming that live.
Yeah, there's almost a part of me that wants to say maybe I could find out how to funnel some of that George Soros money and use it against him. But I think there's a way we can do it. And I know he's pointed to antitrust laws. I think there's a place for that. I think the way he described it, I can buy into. I had a lady maybe a year or so ago. She was telling me about being shadow banned on Twitter, and to be honest with you, and she was being attacked by all these trolls, and she would just come at me with so much information and dump it on me, and I was like, I don't know where to begin with it. I mean, I needed a show like Pete's or yours where you could just bring somebody on and just say, tell your story, get it out that way, because to try to decipher it into writing was just I couldn't do it. And
well, I'm sorry. Have you noticed that your reach has gone down? I mean, like our Facebook pages have analytics in the dashboard. Yeah. I've got over 12,000 subscribers on the Truth is Viral page alone. But whenever we, and I mean me or you or anybody that is a contributing editor to the Truth is Viral, and we've got a few really great folks working over there, but out of the 12,000 subscribers we get, only 30, 40, 50, maybe 100 people will see those posts.
Yeah, well, this is a problem with Facebook. I spoke with this guy. I can't think of his name. His name is Ben. He is with Bloomberg News. I spoke with him about a week ago. He wanted to know, how things were going with our site and Facebook and how that worked. And he was actually very surprised to know that when I explained to him Facebook's what I call double dipping. Mm-hmm. In other words, what they do is if you've got a page out there, you can actually spend money to advertise that page and get likes for the page. You can spend money to get likes.
Yeah.
But the problem is the people don't get your feed. They bottleneck it. So then what they do is they say, well, you can pay money to promote this post to 65,000 people or something. They'll see that. Now, you have no idea if they're going to see it or not. I mean, you're taking their word for it. But it's sort of it's really kind of shady, because the whole point of getting somebody to like your page is not so you have a thumbs up on it. It's so that they get your information, right?
Exactly.
I mean, that is the point of it.
Absolutely.
And so if they like it, aren't they saying, I'd like to see more of your stuff?
Yeah, that's the way the algorithm is supposed to work. And let me tell you my own story about Facebook, and that is when I started doing the Truth is Viral live. I think that was in 2014. I bought advertising on Facebook. I signed up with my PayPal account, and what you do is you start these ad campaigns where Facebook promotes whatever post that you want them to promote. Now, one day, I wake up to an email.
They billed you a bunch of money, didn't they?
Yes, they did. I woke up to an email from PayPal that said, this transaction didn't go through. And I went to PayPal. I'm like, what transaction? And they had charged me like $500 that I didn't, for a campaign I never authorized.
Yes. They do that. They did it to me. In fact, when I sign on to Facebook, it still says you owe 33 something or whatever, which I never authorized. I mean, they gave me $50 free to use, and I set the $50 thing. I said so many days, and when it's out, stop. And
Yeah.
they didn't do that. They apparently went on with it. And I've never put anything. I said, I'll never spend $1 with you guys. I mean, that money was free. That advertising was free. It didn't cost me anything. I'll never spend any money with you guys.
Yeah, well, they charged me that $500, and when I got hooked up with PayPal's customer service, I disputed the charge, and they said, "Oh, don't worry, we'll put that money right back into your account." Facebook does this all the time.
Yes.
So
yeah, they're crooked as a dog's hind leg, and it's not just them. This is what I was telling Ben. He was surprised to hear that, and then he was surprised when I told him. I said, "Google works, somewhat similar." It used to be if you violated terms of service on Google, you lost all advertising.
Right.
You just lost it. Okay, you didn't get it on any pages. Now, I guess they're using some kind of AI technology or something. And if they pick up something on your thing, what they do is they pull the ads from a particular article.
Uh-huh.
Then they send you an email that's just like Facebook. It's this generic thing that you have no idea what they're talking about. They say this article violated this, but they don't tell you what article it is. They don't tell you what
Right.
you violated or any of that stuff. So you don't really know.
Yo, did this? I got an email from AdSense one day that said that all of my Google ads, the ads that you put on your blog, on
Right.
the one that I have on bobpowell.blogspot.com, all of those Google ads stopped serving because they said that there was a malicious script on my page. Now, Blogspot is owned by Google.
Owned by Google, yeah.
Is owned by Google, and we just see the way you do.
Well, they're probably
the
claiming
Blogspot-
they're probably claiming something you do, whether it's with your video or something like that. There's probably something like that, and they're trying to point it out like that. Not that Blogspot.
No, it was they were complaining of a malicious script, and
Yes.
and I found that malicious script inside of one of the modules that was on my page, but I hadn't changed that.
Right.
It has been the same for years, and
Right.
and Google owns YouTube too, so
Yes. No, you're right.
So they're not only throttling our reach, they are cutting us off monetarily. I think I'm about to make like $3.85 from Google this month, and that's okay because I don't do this for the money. I do this to save lives and win souls for Jesus Christ, and they can't shut me down. I mean, they can come in here and take away my computers. They can physically take my computers and throw them out on the lawn and smash them, and I'll just go get a sandwich board and stand out on the corner. And these people are not going to stop me. They're not going to stop you. They're not going to stop Pete Santilli, and they're not going to stop Alex Jones. And I found it very interesting that Jack Dorsey stood up for Alex Jones, because that was just totally, it came out of left field, literally. And I don't understand why he did it, but he's been facing this terrible backlash on Twitter. If you go to Twitter and check out his original post in which he says that he's, here, let me pull that up for you. In which he says that he's not going to ban Alex Jones. Well, the comments that people made. Oh, we lost Tim. Okay. Oh, he's back. Okay. All right, here we go. I'm going to put this up on the screen. Here we go. Okay, it says, we didn't suspend Alex Jones or InfoWars yesterday. We know that's hard for many, but the reason is simple. He hasn't violated our rules. We'll enforce if he does, and we'll continue to promote a healthy conversational environment by ensuring tweets aren't artificially amplified. And we're just going to look at some of these. I don't follow Jack. But let's look at some of these comments. Okay, where are these people? Conversations are not healthy. They're respectful. By censoring disrespect, you are not being more open. Okay, well, you started down the slippery slope of the thought police. It was nice while it lasted. At least you're winning with square. Translation, Rob Dew from InfoWars. Translation, we're going to continue to shadow ban him and censor anyone right of Lenin. But yeah, he's I don't have enough time in the program to go through it all. But if you go to Twitter and look through that, you can see how vile they are. They're attacking each other, and it's actually delicious in a way, because it reminds me of the Night of the Long Knives, when Hitler's brown shirts had been in the streets beating people and breaking it into Jewish-owned businesses and beating them up and destroying their homes and whatnot. But on the Night of the Long Knives, Hitler decided he didn't need them anymore. So he ordered them killed. And anybody else was just folded into the SS. But there really wasn't too much of anybody left. Hey, Tim, we got to go. We've only got about 2 minutes left in the show. I want to thank you for being on The Truth is Viral tonight. And we will get together again sometime and take care of business, brother. I love you. Take care of yourself. Yeah, have a good night. Okay, folks, we're in a battle, and I don't mind walking point. I really don't. I missed out on Desert Storm. Ronald Reagan was my commander-in-chief, and we didn't, and nobody dared mess with us then. But yeah, we need some help, and me in particularly. It takes money to run The Truth is Viral, to buy equipment, to buy subscriptions, and everything that I need to put the show together. And I specifically need, at this moment, a couple of terabyte hard drives that I can download all of my content from YouTube, so that I can re-upload it to Real.video. And we will continue from there, because YouTube is about to pull my chain, and I'm going to be going down the drain. And it's just going to happen any minute. I'm expecting any morning to wake up and find my channel gone. So I really need to get this done and transition to a platform that does not censor free speech, and that's Real.video. And you can find The Truth is Viral on Real.video. You can find me on Facebook. Make sure that you subscribe to The Truth is Viral's homepage on Facebook and on Gab AI. And you can follow Plus Bobby Powell on Google Plus. And go to bobpowell.blogspot.com and hit that PayPal button. Please. Donate whatever won't put you out. But let me tell you something. If you're on like Social Security or disability or something like that, I don't want your money. Okay, somebody with the ability will be moved by our Father in heaven to donate what we need. What I would ask you to do is just continue to like, comment, and share The Truth is Viral and all of the other shows right here on the Liberty One Network, so that we can get the truth out to the masses. And with your help, we can save lives and win souls for Jesus Christ in these very last days. Thank you for watching The Truth is Viral. My name is Bob Powell, and as always, God bless, Semper Fi, and hoorah. Have a great night, folks.
Thank you for watching The Truth is Viral with your host, Bobby Powell. Make sure to follow The Apocalypse on Twitter @The Truth is Viral. Like The Truth is Viral on Facebook, and if you can, please remember to donate to the cause via PayPal at www.bobpowell.blogspot.com.